Today the world is celebrating the World Environmental Day, but you can see on your screens there it is, Dr. Paula Kahumbu, My Life with the Elephants. And the hashtag there, World Environment Day. There we are. Well, many thanks indeed for finding time to come and talk to us.
You're most welcome. Such an honor to be here.
Yes. Let's start off that hashtag World Environment Day, and the theme this year is the ecosystem restoration. And before we get into the interview proper, I just want to get your thoughts on, is plastic pollution a threat to the wildlife against the backdrop of what we are celebrating today, the World Environment Day?
Absolutely. You know, plastics enter into the environment and they will remain there for thousands of years. It's not like so many other things. You can throw out your shoe made of leather or your shirt made of cotton. It will biodegrade within a month or 2 months. But imagine all the plastic that you've thrown out in your lifetime. It's going to be there for 2,000 generations. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So it's just accumulating and accumulating, and it's clogging systems. I'll just give you a very simple, analysis. For example, plastic bags, plastic bottles, they're entering into our rivers, they're floating down, they're blocking the waterways, but they're also collecting small pools of water in which mosquitoes are breeding. And so you're expecting to see malaria will also increase across many of our landscapes. All of this plastic is accumulating in rivers, in our lakes. So you can imagine now at the bottom of our lakes is just a mass.
It's just a mass.
Plastic, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the conversation now proper. I'm interested in knowing how you became the conservationist that you are today.
Oh, that's a surprise question.
What's the backstory?
That's a surprise question, but it's a great question because there are so many young people ask me, how did I get into conservation? I was very lucky as a child. I had a neighbor who was Richard Leakey, who knew a lot about nature, and I was a curious kid. I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters, and we were always thrown outside. Doors were locked. We were told, go explore. And we took it seriously, and we would go around and we would look under stones, climb trees, swim in the rivers. In those days, it was very safe to do that in Nairobi.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let a small child out to do those things today, but we were very lucky that our neighbor Richard Leakey was also, he observed us and he would invite us to ask questions and tell us about these animals. Because if you're interested in insects, let's say, but nobody around you knows the names of those insects or why those insects are there, what they do, where they live, it's very hard to really develop your curiosity and your interest in that animal. I think mentoring and mentorship is very, very important. And so Richard Leakey helped me to really, feel like I had a license to keep exploring, keep looking at things, keep asking questions. So that's what we do with children today. My organization, Wildlife Direct, we have the first African wildlife conservation area for children, only for children. It's free for children. And they come to us and they spend a day learning about nature with scientists, experts, botanists, rangers, and they are allowed to explore, touch, smell, and learn in a natural way, not in a classroom. They learn by experiencing nature, by studying things for themselves, discovering things for themselves.
Okay.
And they are being mentored in a way that I think is extremely important, because there's one thing in the world, there's only one thing in the whole world, I think, which can repair itself, is nature.
Is nature.
We're talking about World Environment Day and restoration. Why? Because we've damaged so much. But we know that nature also has this incredible ability to repair itself. But if we don't understand nature, we'll keep damaging it until it's broken and cannot be repaired.
I like that part of where your focus is on the children, because we also know that their brains develop in the early stages of their life. But just tell me about, because you've worked with a lot of animals.
Yes.
But why particularly the elephant?
Well, elephants are incredible, such iconic animals. There's more research has been done on elephants than any other species on this continent. And yet, we actually know very little about them. Why? Because elephants are very intelligent. They have an ability to think, plan, communicate. They socialize in a way that's very unique, very much like humans actually. And they use their landscapes in ways that, this is why they're so difficult to manage, because elephants are so smart. They're constantly outsmarting us. So elephants are one of those species that no matter where you are, if there are elephants near you and you start studying them, you will find something unique about them, because there is still so much more to learn. Their brains are bigger than ours by many times, and they're more complex than ours. So they're always going to keep surprising us.
They mourn when they lose their loved ones.
They mourn when they lose their loved ones. They make plans. They have culture. They train their youngsters. You know, they think, they feel. They are a species which I think is underappreciated, because we tend to look at them as these big animals which are just roaming around and destroying things. That's how a lot of people see them. When in fact, they're one of the most beloved species on Earth. One of the most beloved. And if we can make peace with elephants, we can create a lot of jobs. We can create a lot of income for our country. And we can also rehabilitate nature. Do you know the one animal that plays the biggest role in the restoration of nature is elephants?
Elephants.
They eat 150 kilograms of food each per day, which includes seeds and fruits. And they plant it as they go along.
But they also do have tasks. And I remember in 1989, the then president, Daniel Moi, burning the largest pile, they say, of ivory ever. And I remember it because it was a Saturday and I was preparing to go somewhere. How did that act of burning those tasks help in shaping global policy around the exports of ivory?
I think that was the most important moment in time for elephants, was Kenya's principled stand to destroy ivory instead of joining countries that were saying, let's sell the ivory. Let's sell it now while we can. That's what some countries were saying. You know, there are three things that motivate people. One is profit, making money, and not losing money. Another one is ego, like having nice things that impress your friends. And the third one is your faith or your belief system. The reason why people were killing elephants was for money, for profit. But the reason why people are buying ivory in Asia, the Chinese, the Japanese, why they were buying so much ivory is because of prestige. Having ivory was a mark of wealth. So if you have ivory and your friend doesn't have ivory, they'll be coveting your ivory. They'll be so jealous of you. That was why it was happening. So imagine if we could make ivory something so despicable. If you are wearing ivory, it means you're a murderer. It means you're one of those people killing elephants. So now everybody who had ivory, even old ivory given to them as gifts in the past or whatever, they were being told, don't you know that this has blood? It's blood on your hands now. And that's why it worked, because they shamed people who had ivory or wanted ivory, and also made it very difficult for anybody to make money, to profit from ivory, because criminals are being caught and being thrown inside, their properties and assets were being seized. So that, I think, has really made a big difference, and it led to a completely new relationship with elephants. Our value system shifted dramatically because we know so much more about elephants. People care about elephants as beings now, not just as an animal. In Kenya, in Amboseli, every single elephant has a name. And that name tells you which family they came from, who the mother is, who the sisters and brothers are. In a way, it's like a soap opera unfolding in front of you.
But tell me, because I ask this because there's this wider debate around whether banning of those tasks actually effective. Is there a link? Because there are those folks who are arguing that there is no link at all. There is no, concrete proof that destroying the supply actually leads to a drop in the demand of the ivory.
The evidence is very clear. There are people who will always say that because they want to sell ivory, but the evidence is very clear. The price of ivory collapsed. The price of ivory will only go down if the demand goes down.
If the demand goes down. I ask that because there's very disturbing evidence, especially if you go online. I mean, you can see that even within the legal frameworks that are put in place to slow down the sale of ivory, but you're just seeing an uptick. The scope and scale of that trade is still up.
Well, the truth is no. When in 2008, there was a one-off sale of ivory to China. And that sale of ivory was done by 4 African countries. That sale of ivory to China, as you can imagine, a country of 1.7 billion people, meant that the demand was massive. Because Chinese people have a little bit of money, and having ivory is very prestigious. So many people wanted ivory. The price of ivory went from about $100 to over $3,000. So you can imagine what happened. So ivory was being sucked out of Africa. Every country that had elephants was in trouble. Today, the price of ivory is way down, way down. China has banned ivory. The government of China recognized that that legalization of ivory within their country led to catastrophic destruction of elephants in Africa. And so they've banned it. They've banned it. I mean, China hardly has any elephants left. They've already destroyed their own elephants.
Although they believe that, you know, a sizable number of the Chinese people believe that, you know, it came with good luck having the ivory as an ornament.
That's partly why there was so much demand for ivory, because they have many beliefs behind it.
All right. Alvin Kaunda is a colleague of mine here, and we all saw him doing a report, a piece to camera, and there was a beautiful elephant in the background that was playing with him, so to speak. What I'm interested in knowing from you is, what is the most exciting moment for you? You've worked with these animals for long. Which moment stands out, you know, for you? We saw Alvin's. How about you?
Well, I can see him over here. Alvin is one of the most exciting young people in this country when it comes to reporting on wildlife. I'm so excited that there are more and more young people who want to tell stories about nature and listen to our communities and inform people, and so that we care about nature. And that particular story with the elephants is so moving and so touching that it's been shared millions and millions of times. It's really incredible.
Yeah, we got a clip of that. You just showed a snippet of the elephant.
In the last year, I've been working with National Geographic, and we've been filming elephants across the African continent and Asia for a series called Secrets of the Elephants. For me, the opportunity to go into the desert of Namibia and meet desert-adapted elephants, which live in a habitat that is so extreme. You can't even imagine humans living there, but there are elephants living in those deserts, in the valleys, these mountainous valleys, extremely hot and very dry. And then going to Congo, into the rainforest, and seeing another species of elephant. Did you know that we have 2 species of elephants in Africa?
In Congo?
Yes, we have a species of elephants called forest elephants. They separated from the savanna elephants about 3 million years ago. They look different, they are round, their ears are huge, their tusks are thin and long, and they just come straight down. And these elephants, they look totally different. They're actually in my book. So
and that's what we're expecting as we wander, the secrets. Do you want to tell us something about that?
So this is the book that goes with the series, which is on National Geographic and Disney. And we are going to be premiering it on the 30th of June at the Wild Screen Festival at the Alliance Francaise. And this book is available actually at Bookstop. So if you want to get it, you can get it there or on Amazon. But in this book, we talk about the 4 different kinds of elephants. Asian elephants is one species. Africa has forest elephant, which is a different species, Loxodonta cyclotis, and Loxodonta africana, the savanna elephant. But we also have the desert-adapted elephant. It is not a different species, but it's a very unique type of elephant which only lives in the desert. So it's really incredible that elephants have survived so many threats and pressures. Not just the ivory trade, human-elephant conflict, habitats, climate change, all kinds of things. And elephants have done so well as a species.
All right, your overarching message as we come to the end of this interview.
My overarching message
as we come to the I know the 30th, we have that at the Alliance Francaise.
My overarching message is that as Kenyans, we're so blessed to have so much biodiversity, and I'm talking about now everything: elephants, lions, the trees, the fish in our oceans and the coral reefs. All of this biodiversity is very unique. Kenya is in a very unusual place, with a rift valley cutting right through the middle of our country, the oceans, the deserts in the north, the rainforests in the west. We're a very unique country, and we take it for granted as citizens. My overarching message, my plea to every Kenyan: come to our national parks. Come and experience these amazing places. If you're in the city of Nairobi, your first safari should be Nairobi National Park. Today there are so many lion cubs. There are several cheetahs and cheetah cubs. So many rhinos. I just was there this weekend. It's so beautiful. As Kenyans, there's no excuse. We should be the first champions and supporters of our national parks.
All right. I think we need more time to discuss this. Isn't it? But I want to thank you so much.
Let's do it in the park next time.
Oh yeah, why not? And also on the 30th at the Allianz.
Yes,
you want people to come there. All right, so I've got to let her go. The sports anchor is on standby. But we want to thank you so much for finding time to come and be with us. Do you want to wave to them?
Thank you all.
Thank you for doing it differently.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we're taking a short break. We'll be back with a look at the day sports. Don't go away.